Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are up quite early, and it's not a Wrexham game. We're here today to watch Exeter and Lincoln. Why? Why would we get up early on a Saturday morning when we got a great Stockport Wrexham game later on today? Well, Wrexham's next two games, Exeter and Lincoln. So Sean had the idea for us to jump on, potentially watch who our upcoming opponents are, get a better idea of who they are, better feel for them, since we haven't seen either team, at least Sean and I haven't. And so lucky for me, when Sean and I have been doing this most of the year, I've had to go and then decide which team I wanted to give $10 to and buy an iFollow subscription for one game and watch them. Luckily, in the United States, Paramount Plus, which I subscribe to just for these rare games, has it for free today. So I'm watching on Paramount Plus. I believe you could go to either site, Exeter or Lincoln, and do the iFollow if you wanted. I don't know if it's where else it may be free for you guys, but if you're looking, that's it. And the chat, Will, how are you doing? David, nice to see you. Sean asked me if I wanted to do the broadcast today, and I said, yeah, only if you're doing it. And he's sleeping. So he got me again. But I'm sure he will join at some point. He had his camera on, but he just flipped the lid down. So who knows? He set it all up so that the second he wakes up, he's on here with us. Right now, Paramount Plus is just showing, what do you call it? They are showing commercials and stuff. I'm going to switch to the league table, get to see where these teams are. So it's at Exeter. Exeter is in 11th. They're one game behind us. They've played 13. Their goal difference is 4. They're at 22 points. Barnsley, who's right behind us in 4th, is at 25 points. So 4 to 11, not much of a difference point-wise. At 25 is also Lincoln, who has a goal difference of 4. So a win here by Exeter vaults them over Lincoln. If everyone else did not get points ahead of them. That's Stockport, Mansfield, Huddersfield, Reading, and Bolton. And hopefully Stockport won't be getting any points today. So as you can see, Wrexham at 28 points. We play later today against number 6, Stockport, who has 24 points. And like I said, we face Stockport today, then we face Exeter, then we face Lincoln. And we face Stockport's away, but our next two are at home. It's kind of a really interesting looking stadium. They have only like 5 rows at one end, and the camera angle showing that. You get to see the town. So if you had the houses across the street, their second floor all can see the game, no problem. You get a nice look of the town. The kind of mountains in the background. It's not bad. I mean, obviously you'd rather an enclosed stadium and give it more of an atmosphere, but I like these stadiums where you get to see a little bit more of the town, and I find it interesting. They seem to have a big screen over in the corner, which shows a lot of stuff. I'm waiting for Wrexham, when they obviously get the cop in and stuff like that, to have some stuff like that. I would think that would be good for the fans so that they can see those replays and get feeds from other games and stuff like that at halftime. Play videos and montages celebrating goals and things like that. All that would be really good. Stadium's fairly full, I'd say. I mean, it's right. The game hasn't started yet. It looks 75, 80% full at the moment. Exeter. And again, we do not go there next week. Exeter comes to us at the Stoke Kairos. What are we at? 7:26. So supposedly we're going to be doing it 4 minutes. Teams are looking like they're gathered in the tunnel, and it looks like they're ready to come up. Let me see, how many people are we looking at? I'm going to switch to the other view so I can poke around in my machine a little bit. Yeah, I am pretty much all alone here. But I expect that you guys will be joining as the game goes on, as you wake up at a normal hour, which totally makes sense because although it's only almost 7:30 here on the East Coast, you're obviously, hey, Lake Lecco, West Coast, you're looking at 4:30 in the morning. That's not good. So now they're showing the extra lineup. Truthfully, don't recognize anybody here. Like, no one stands out for me as there's a ridiculously good, striker or a brick wall of a keeper or, someone the size of Flint back there at defense where you're thinking, okay, that guy's going to be difficult to get around. Same thing for Lincoln. None of the names really jump out at me all that much. I don't know if you guys know. Oh, no, sorry, Bailey Kadamatari. Sorry for butchering that. That was one of the players that was talked about Wrexham getting on loan. So I do recognize him. He's number 9. Obviously, he'll be playing up front. They play 2 up front. Oh, like Lecco's at 11:30. That's nice. PM. Oh, wow. Yeah, so you get some of this game. Are you going to try to hang on for the Stockport Wrexham like Lecco? Couple of pints in you. See if you can sustain it through. See if there's 11:30 now. You got to go. Oh, geez, no, you're going to be really late. You're what? 2 in the morning before the game starts, and then a couple hours. Yeah, that's not good for you. Highlights tomorrow for you. The game's about to start. I'm going to switch to the game screen. Yeah, tonight, exactly. I actually like the black and red colors of Exeter. The crest is kind of nice. I like it in the shape of the shield there. It's pretty decent. Yeah, 2 a.m. Ugh. If you hang on for any of it, that'll be great. I'm just hoping, like that today's game, some of the times we've gone against Stockport, it's been a blowout, right? So, you want the usual. We can't really afford for too many more people to get injured, so we don't want that to happen. And ideally, we'd like to at least pick up a point. We can get points on these 2 tough away games before the finish of the season, considering all the injuries. That's excellent. So, looking for at least 1 today. 3 would be just obviously ideal. They're lining up right now. Interesting ball, just away. We got to start the clock. Exeter with the ball. They are in red and white stripes. I don't know. And then they have that thing in the back where they have to they have to break up the stripes with like a big patch of red so that the white numbering can be seen. Not great. Down the left wing, Exeter has the ball. Defense double teams the Exeter player and knocks it away. So good early quick run there. I don't know. I guess the shirts don't look that bad, but they're not fantastic. You were born in Barnsley Hospital. That's crazy. Obviously, Barnsley, you're right behind us in the and right between Lincoln and us in the standings at the moment. I think so. I don't know if you're a closet Barnsley fan because of that late let go. I thought I saw like first game of the year that Barnsley played. I think they lost to someone like Stockport. I forget what the game was, and they gave up an early goal or two, and then they just played incredible most of the last half of the first half, and then all the second half, and they hit the bar, the post. It would get tipped. They looked incredible. I thought that they were going to be very quickly at the top of the table and someone to deal with all year long. It took them some time. They've climbed up there, and now they're right behind us. So I think they're one of the ones that could definitely be challenging for promotion this year. Barnsley moved to Oz in '81. Hey Denise, how are you? Yeah, Sean tricked me. He said, "Do you want to do the Exeter Lincoln?" I said, "Yeah, sure, if you're doing it." And he's snoring away. It was a free kick there by Exeter. They tried to bend it in. It was quite a ways out, almost out of bounds, coming from the right side. Played it a little bit like a corner, and Francis for Exeter drilled it over the goal. Lincoln goal kick. Whose Lincoln is wearing white uniform. I'm guessing this is unless they decide to play their third kit, this is the uniform they're going to wear for us, and it's plain white with a blue stripe across it. I don't know. I haven't seen a close up of the front. It's nothing spectacular. I have to talk about the outfit because there's not much else that I know about these players. Again, like I said, Lincoln does have one of the targets for Wrexham, or the supposed targets for Wrexham, and Bailey Katamade. He has Exeter, good chance, a little give and go on the right side. They got just outside the box, and wow, they blasted it maybe 10 meters wide right. It was an awful strike of the ball. There was nobody on the guy. This is Watts. That's what I don't get. If you move if you're running out in the open, you're not being pressed all that much. You don't have to squeeze out a shot in the next half a second. How is it that you can be that far off? Like 10 meters off. You're a professional player. How is that? That, like, when I try to equate that to basketball, if I'm all by myself running down court on a breakaway, no one's within 10 or 15 feet of me, I'm not going to miss the rim. I'm not going to put it off the backboard and have it go out to half court. How is it you miss this bad wide open? I see it happen more often than not. I mean, I haven't played, football at a high level, but goodness gracious, they really for pros, they can really miss the ball sometimes. You're going back to bed, Denise. I don't blame you. Set your alarm. I hope it's louder than Sean's, because I'm sure his is going off right now. Lincoln just had a couple of chances, a high volley inside, and then a strong header about a meter or so wide left. Pretty good chance. Clearance by Exeter when you look back. I don't think there was, from that distance, you couldn't get enough on that header to really test the goalie. So even if it was on goal, it would have been no problem. I hear someone in the background, Denise. It could be the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, Sean is stirring. He's questioning his life choices at the moment. He's trying to psych himself up to get on camera. He's thinking about not doing it. Who knows? You do you, Sean. We'll be ready for you when you join. I have you switched off, so you're good. Back and forth, Lincoln and Exeter here. Not much to say. They're just trading the ball. Oh, Exeter with a slight breakout here. Wow, they get a lot of people forward. They got 4 coming forward, 5, 6. Wow, they very quickly come with numbers. Uh, Ball's passed in. What whistle? Late whistle there. Ball must have gone over the end line there. Goal kick for Lincoln. We've also noticed that the way Lincoln plays defense, quite different from how I've seen Wrexham. Wrexham will man up and 1v1 players, whereas Lincoln seems to double team anytime the ball's in the last third. Defensively, they'll double team and try to steal the ball away. They've been very consistent every time the ball gets down in their end. There's obviously a lot of talking communication, and they're deciding which 2 players are pressing on the ball. Player down for Lincoln, a little dinged up. Looks like he's fine. I guess the front of the Lincoln shirt, it's kind of a dark band with the little red trims on the outside. It's kind of classy looking. Nothing fantastic, but much better than the back, which is just all white. Exeter brings it out from the back, moving pretty quickly. Lincoln does well. They're pressing all over the field. Ball swung all the way around for Exeter in the back. They try to come. They switch sides from the left to the right and end up putting it out of bounds. And we got a throw in for Lincoln. Back and forth, balls getting traded. Right. Oh, Exeter makes a mistake, tosses it out. Then delays a game that they're not calling. Another throw in here for Lincoln. And the same Exeter player with typical nonsense. Let me see. There's a little bit like That's a little slow today. Yeah, this is going to be an awful game to watch because that was just a horrendous dive by the Exeter defender on their right side. Um, he cuts off a Lincoln player. Second, the Lincoln player gets within, to the point where it looks like he may be touching him. He just dives on top of the ball, stopping play. So back and forth, both teams kicking it. The midfield, it is on Exeter's side. Lincoln with control. They immediately lose that with an attempt to connect up with one of the strikers. Exeter working out from the back, trying to go up to the middle this time, and quickly taken. Lincoln now trying to make a move. They kicks it from 30 meters out, and although it was on target, middle of the goal, there was nothing on it really. Keeper had zero problems with that one. Yeah, Exeter's looking good. Let go. I don't know. Lincoln, at least defensively, seems relaxed and solid, and Exeter's pushing a little more offensively, working hard. But again, no one's had a substantial chance either way. Although I guess I'd say Exeter did very early on, and they missed super wide, which was ridiculous. Exeter with the ball now, pressing forward. Double teams cause them to kick it wide left. It comes across, easily taken back by Lincoln. They don't clear it well. Back to Exeter, trying to work it back around on that right side, and players cleared out. Oh, yellow card. Wow. I thought he hit the ball first. Let's watch that. Man, I don't know. That's an awful zoom in. Let's see. Yeah, he gets to the ball first, and the Lincoln player allows himself to kind of get cleared out there. Yellow card for McGrandles. The referee doesn't have the luxury of watching it back. He might have thought that the Lincoln player got to the ball first there and got taken out only in the legs, but it's the other way around. It's a very good tackle, I think. Here comes free kick. Lining up 40 yards out, so it's going to be quite a but there's no way they're going for goal, so this will be, yeah, they short, bring it back around, deep on the left side, cross goes from that angle, can only get to the keeper. Are you ready, Sean? Let me see here. Don't put you on yet? Okay. I'm not gonna look at the camera, Sean. I don't know what state you're in, and I'm not looking to get scared this early in the morning, so you just let me know when. Exeter with the ball, trying to work it out of their own end. Lincoln steals it back. Exeter really good, passing it around, controlling the ball. I haven't looked at the possession numbers yet. It's been pretty back and forth. Exeter with a breakout. Again, they work it down that left side. That seems to be their preferred method. I believe they play a similar setup. I believe that's a wing back out there that they're working it to. I haven't looked at his number yet. It's on the far side of the field, so it's a little difficult. Throw in by Lincoln. They're trying to clear it. They give it away. Exeter with the ball still on Lincoln's half. Swinging it back around to the far right side. They get it back in the middle. Just checking things out. Swing it far left again. Back. All the way back to midfield. Swinging it all the way around to the right side. Tries to make a move on the right side, a giveaway, and the ball's out. Little words being exchanged between one of the Lincoln players and the Exeter bench. Ball's being thrown in by Exeter on the deep right side. Oh, look at that background. I had to peek. Looks great. Sorry, I'm checking out Sean's camera. Oh, and he's got his warm-up jersey on and everything, which is appropriate because it's not game time yet. Exeter with the ball. Playing a little back and forth here with Lincoln. Lincoln tries to head it away. Exeter tries to play it over that left side. Lincoln gets it. A little bit of a breakout. Oh, incredible defensive play by the Harper. That's who it is that Exeter seems to really like on that left side. Oh, couple of hard tackles. Lincoln with the ball in the middle, wide open player, and he blasts it over the goal. Comes streaking down on the left side. They kick it over to him. There was one defender. Not a great action on the kick. Lincoln did turn that around pretty quickly. But yeah, not as high as it was no threat to go in, obviously. Blast it well over goal. So finally, Lincoln gets a really good chance there. Exeter with the ball. Exeter now bringing it over midfield. Again, they're on the far left there. Swinging it all the way back around. They bring it back over midfield again. Tried to get it ahead. Not the best of passes from the midfielder there. Lincoln deflects it out of bounds, and Exeter is a throw in now. Right, 18-10 in that. What do I have for on the clock? Yeah, pretty close. So we got a throw in for Exeter again, deep down the right side, or their right side. Ball's knocked around. Exeter ends up knocking it out, and now we have Lincoln with the throw in. Throw-in being headed back and forth between the two teams. Ball goes out, Lincoln with it. Throw in, throw it deep down the left side. Exeter intercepts. Ball's being swung around. They're trying to get it over to Harper on their far left. All the way back to the Exeter keeper. Really like seeing this pressure by Lincoln. Keeps the game more interesting. Instead of sitting back, all their players are up, manning up, pressuring the ball, challenging all the passes when they can. All the way back to the keeper for Exeter. And the pressure causes the ball to get knocked out. So Exeter with a throw in, about midfield on the far left side. Ball's being headed back and forth. And what are we looking at here? Exeter deciding they want to take a little bit of a break and waste some time, so they flop. Exeter puts it back in play. Ball's still on the far left side. No progress. Lincoln's, wow, they committed a lot of people out even wide to press the ball. I would imagine you put that many people out wide and a quick swing of the ball. While ball's deep on the right side, Exeter trying to cross it. Ball gets deflected. Exeter with the ball still looking. Exeter player knocks it off a Lincoln player. There's going to be a throw-in right now for Watts. I would imagine that Lincoln, if you swing the ball quickly or you're accurate with some, I wouldn't say long passes, but, a good 25 to 30 meter pass from the far side to the middle or from the middle to the wing, you could catch them switching back and forth. They commit a lot of people out to pressure the ball side. They're not going to let you stay there and cross one in. So I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know that Barney will get a lot of openings. Like I said, the way their defense is setting up and their willingness to commit a lot of bodies out to that side. But if he can get open, I would imagine there's not going to be a lot of numbers. We might outnumber them in the box because they commit so much to the ball side. Ball's cleared out by the keeper on a goal kick. Are you Sean? All righty. There you go. You are in, my friend. I'm going to have
Good
to.
morning. I'd almost say good afternoon, good evening. I feel like this is turning into an adventure into does Sean wake up in time for events because he's that exhausted. Sort of YouTube channel, and there should be bet 365 odds placed on it and all that sort of stuff. So no sound at the moment other than through you. I got conflicting device errors that I will worry about later, but I'm going to cover this one, and I appreciate you jumping in as always, covering my butt. And hello, everybody. I haven't brought up the chat, so I should do that while we're sitting here chatting. I'll just say this: of the 5 minutes that I've watched so far, looks like it's, as we anticipated, fairly even. And I will say this: those jerseys that Lincoln City have are rather spectacular. I'm a fan. And other than that, I've got nothing more. 7 people so far watching this one. So early in the morning, nobody else is really jumping up and getting in on this one, but we'll see how the rest of the day goes. The like button is down there below as we're going to end up with a free kick, and I'm going to try and set myself up for some success while we have a chat here going through. Brendan, I don't know if you're still on the screen and if you're audioed, but thank you. And how are you, by the way?
I am good. I am not visually on the screen, but I left my audio going. I am good. I absolutely love that background. I love your flag that I'm quite familiar with. So yes, that's now you will not be getting harassed and harangued over being homeless and living in a box.
It's just really hiding boxes is what it is.
Yes, I know.
But yeah, the day moves on, and I was going to be doing something, and I'm so scrambled, I don't even know what's going on in my own universe. There was a free kick over from the right-hand side. It was obviously missed, and there's going to be another attempt here. Without any audio, it's entertaining to try and catch up the sustenance of the game as to what's going on, the noise, that sort of stuff. I feel like I'm in a bit of a vacuum right now. Trying to scramble and figure out exactly where we are. Free kick from the left-hand side, 10 yards in, going to be a right-footed in-swinger. Plenty of people in the box who fake to take it short. And, ooh, it's close. It's there. It's banging around. And
That
cleared
should
by
have been a
Exeter City.
score.
That probably should have been a goal, whether on the first attempt or the second or the third, because everybody seemed to have an opportunity there.
Watch this replay, Sean.
Oh, he did get his left hand stab on that thing. I missed that save. I thought that it hit a body in front of him.
It was a tricky redirect, a slight spin on the ball. The Lincoln player got a slight foot on it to make it move a little bit more, and that diving quick left hand by the keeper was incredible.
Whitworth pulling that one off of the entry there. Was that Ruffin that entered that in 23? In any event, Monsma right hand side gets it over and back, and Harper ends up thumping it the hell out of there. And Lincoln City's going to turn it around the other way with sky balls. Easily collected by Whitworth. I'm going to, while we have a little bit of a break in the action there, bring up the chat stuff so that I can connect everybody through the chat.
So I'm watching the Paramount Plus feed, and our play-by-play and color is we offer considerably more than they do. Like he has bouts of 10 seconds of absolute silence.
That's what I don't understand about. I get that it's the beautiful game, and I understand the concept that it's so beautiful that it can speak for itself. But there's so much to talk about, even without the color commentary and just the play-by-play itself. But I guess that's just my take on it. As I'm sitting here staring at the screen.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, should I be shut? Yeah, that's what I was doing. So, like, should I be more quiet? It's like that. Is that what people want? I don't know.
No, never. All right, we should have the chat up and running as we go through. So for the people that are here, feel free to hit that like button. I was really excited about this one, and I'm surprised not as many people showed up so far. And I'm going to have to remind myself to stay more central than I have been. And you'll have to remind me if I get out of the way. And so we've got everything all going. And we've collected as an opportunity in the box, roofed up over top. And the man with the gray ginger hair, number 6, peeved at the miss on that one. Woods skyballed that opportunity on the entry. Was at Watts' right-hand side into the box. Oh.
Did you play any football as a kid?
Like as far as competitive, no. I mean, did I go to a camp once or twice? Yes. Did I play recreationally? Yes. Oddly enough, we played more in 40 below than we did in the summertime, because in where I grew up, we weren't allowed to play football. Football was culturally a pariah for men. It was girls could play football, but the boys could not. And so unless it was cold and the football was a missile, a rock, because it was frozen solid and you could prove your manhood by heading a boulder, it was culturally deemed inappropriate to play football.
Wow.
You played hockey, you played gridiron football, American football, sports where pain was an expectation and an outcome. Rugby was more popular even in Saskatchewan than football was when I was there.
So tell me if I'm being critical here, overly critical, which I usually am, I would guess. That last kick by the Exeter player where he skied it.
Woods.
Yeah, at least 10 meters above the goal. And he wasn't being tackled. There was a guy relatively close, a meter or 2 away, 2 meters away, but he had time. He ran up. He got to strike it with his dominant leg. How do you miss by that much from that close when you're a paid professional? I don't get it. And Exeter has hit several balls when they're wide open, and just don't strike them well. And there's no reason to be missing it.
I'm not a kinesiologist, but as to or a physicist, But as to application, I mean, I liken it to taking a slap shot and the difference between a slap shot and a wrist shot in hockey, which I played a lot of, and the application of force, even and the metrics of quick fire and quick movement is slight degree angles one way or the other with more force is going to end up with demonstrably different outcomes. And I mean, I think that was pretty atrocious, but that's just a byproduct of, that's not a pass that's going across to find a space, and you've got opportunity to control your movements more when you're swinging that hard. It's you're off by a couple of centimeters and you get those drastic results. I mean, he just skiffed that and got his foot underneath it, right? And at full power, and it went to the moon. It's shocking, but I understand it. It's the same thing. That's why when you're a peewee hockey player, you can't hit the broadside of a barn with a slap shot. It takes years and years and years, but even still, you get those big changes. I don't know. I played enough to do it, but that's the only explanation I can come up with. But that was a shocking miss. He was 12 yards away, and he went 15 meters over the net. Like I don't know if he can replicate it. In any event.
Yeah, I don't know. You're being paid. Like this is what you do all day long. You practice this.
You just go and kick them all
most of your life. Like. And you get an opportunity as good of an opportunity as you can expect to get, and you have all the time in the world on your strong leg, decent pitch,
Yeah, I don't know. I can only say I've had my moments where people pay me to talk, and I've also stood in front of somebody and gone like, and pulled a. I was going to insult a president, but which president do I insult? For stuttering.
Will's loving the warm-up jacket, by the way, which I agree with.
I got the caramel one too, Jason, and I feel bad. When I put it on, I felt bad for Brendan because Brendan was like, "Oh, get Jason," when he went over to the Northampton match and the Bristol Motors U21 match against Wolverhampton. Messaged me and said, "I'm in the shop and they've got these things. Do you want them?" And I went, "Yes." And then I never thought to ask Brendan, and then Brendan told me, "Yeah, he'd be interested," and I didn't get back fast enough so that one could get picked up. So when I put it on, I was like, it's kind of a rude move to sit there and I stiffed Brendan. Look at what I got, sort of thing. So in any event, 32 minutes and 15 seconds is where I'm at. We've got a man rolling around on the deck. We are 5:00 in the morning, my time, and an hour away from getting the lineup for the Wrexham Stockport match. While he's down, and I'm sure we're going to talk about Stockport and the prep stuff for that one, as we see Whitworth preparing himself over in the back corner off of the highlights of that great save. It's going to be a fascinating game. Who is Stockport County this year? I mean, you look at their recent results, and not just the last two matches, but and I know you can't get a lot from trophy and cup games, but they have been up and down and up and down and up and down all season, last half dozen games or so. Do you have any way? And I think if you listen to the podcast, they don't even know who they are. Like, and who's their goalkeeper right now? Is it Hinchliffe or is it Corey Adai? Who's going to be starting in goal? And does it matter? Do you have any idea, any sense as to how to predict whether Stockport is going to be a team or not? Something.
I've heard some of their people that do videos and stuff, and they don't seem to have an answer for it either. And if they don't, and they watch it all the time, and they know every player, they can't seem to explain it.
It's one of those ones where, like with Harrogate Town, when we played and you watched in the first 10 minutes, you're like, I don't know if we've got it. And I feel like that's going to be what we're going to be dealing with today is we may know 10 minutes in. Can I hold my score prediction to the 10-minute mark? Because if I can, I'm pretty sure I might be able to tell you exactly what the outcome is going to be. Just based on, are they ready to show up today or not? Wickens collected it, and another man down, Lincoln City. Is this the same guy? I thought it was a forward previously, but it may be the man who had treatment is getting back up and getting treatment. And I don't know, what do you do with Corey Adai? 64.2%, I think, was his save percentage, which is not okay. Like 70% to me is the threshold of expectation. Anything above 70%, and you're doing well. Above 75%, holy crap! And if you get over 80, like you're into Algonquin territory, and I think you're at 85%. Like Algonquin is crushing everything. Unfortunately, yeah, he's injured. But if I'm the coach for Stockport and you go through their last 5 results, what do I end up doing here? I don't have an answer for it. They beat Bolton 5-0. They lose to Wickham 5-0. They beat Reading 4-1. They lose to Lincoln City 2-1, and they draw Northampton. Games with big goals scored, goals against, and like the game against Northampton is a 1-1 draw. At home has to be disappointing and frustrating. What do you do with a guy who's at 65%? And the guy that you replaced him for, Hinchcliffe, was good last year. Not spectacular, but he certainly did the job. Comes in and gets a clean sheet in a game that you dominate. Do you go back to him?
That's what I heard, that they were going back to Hinchcliffe today.
I think you kind of have to. I mean, the team performed in front of you, and sometimes that matters. Sometimes there's just guys who, for whatever reason, the team plays better in front of. And maybe he's that guy. But how do you start him, end up winning 5-0, and then not putting him back in when you got a clean sheet? And I think you're going to have to put him back. It'll be interesting. We're injured all over the place. And in every position, and with significant players. And for them, they've got the Jekyll and Hyde thing going on right now. Lincoln City, we're back underway, pushing to the far right corner, pushing. That was a weak call. Flag goes up saying that was a foul on Purinton, giving the push, and the attitude is on.
These teams have been flopping so soft in the.
Well, if you're going to get a call from the lino for that, like that's an excuse me, can I get you to move out of the way on an elevator? Hand on the back, like that's just oh, sorry, I'm here. And he just crumpled like a house of cards. And
they also dive on the ball, making you have to blow a whistle.
Yeah, I learned that skill from Richie Larea, Canadian midfielder who played for. Does he have a position? Canadian everywhere player, who played for Nottingham Forest for a bit. Who does that all the time, and actually during the Copa America got called on it, got called for handball. He went and dove, grabbed the ball, and the ref went, handball. That was probably well deserved. So it's going to be 5 yards away from the end line with a left-footed in-swinger. So quasi to a corner, bulleted far post collision, hammered down, just to the right. Jeffries with the second opportunity, as the initial one punched out by Whitworth, who's now adjusting himself because I think when he dove up there, he took a shot. Was that to chest or to groin? I'm not certain, but it comes back to Jeffries
somewhere low.
Yeah, you got it. I'm not sure if that's ribs or worse, but he's taking.
You see how close that ball missed wide right?
Yeah, foot and a half, trying to place it in there. And to your point earlier on with the shot by Woods, that's one of those ones where you say, just hammer it. Just hammer it. But instead he tried to place it in and missed everything. Close. And I don't think that hit was a deflection either. Lincoln City back underway, trying to advance the ball forward and get it up. Moylan not able to get it on the left-hand side. And here comes Exeter City. This is the battle of like some exceptional jerseys. These are outside of Wrexham's, these are maybe the two favorites so far. Nice little Watts insight, trying to loop that up over top and get it up to, was it Atchison or Ali? In any event, trying to move it up forward and had the curl around, just a little bit heavy on the weight. If this was curling, you had everybody screaming off, hoping that rock would die and give them enough time to get to it before it was captured by Wickens, who gets us underway. 39 minutes, 15 seconds. And I don't have the chat up to be able to bring everybody in here. So let's do that while we're at it. Can we get a Wrexham injured reserve 4th jersey? Will I am? What would that look like? And nice to see you, by the way. It's been a while.
Be a red cross setup, right? Big red plus on it.
The big red, yeah. And how did I miss that Meta joined as a sponsor? Like in the chaos of my world and trying to get caught up in a Wrexham, how did I miss that Meta is now a sponsor of Wrexham?
They just snuck that in.
And just, yeah, I missed it entirely. October 24th. And I went, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Not the same fanfare. You think you're following along with everything as you're going through life. And I miss one, embarrassingly enough to me.
I thought they were going to be better about all their communications and everything. And that one just, like no fanfare, no video that I know of. Just the flopping is horrendous now.
There is, well, if you are a player, there's another one. And he got the call. Oh, he went the other way. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, no, he didn't go the other way. That flop got him another call. And now they're up talking about it and having handbag moments. Like, the thing that the incredulousness of, like, oh my word. Oh my word.
The guy dives on the ground.
And the acting and how incredulous. Who are you? That's embarrassing. McGrandles. My word. That wasn't even a touch on the back.
It's both teams, by the way.
That was a gentle breeze, but the part of it that makes that moment special is the performance that occurred when McGrandles got up and just admonished the Exeter player for how dare he breathe in his general direction. Shocking. The referee for us, I don't know if you followed this one. And I forget his name. I'm going to go down and bring it. He's experienced. We haven't had him in years, but he's been doing League One and League Two for an extended period. Thomas Kirk. Do you know where he's from? About 6 minutes away from Stockport. And I find that interesting. I'm all for impartiality and professional referees to be able to do their thing, but I also recognize that the EFL doesn't allow referees to do games where their favorite teams or teams they've had connections with are in it. And this one, interestingly enough, despite him living like literally in the area, that's okay. I'm curious about those guidelines, but we'll see. English football, more controversies and more things to talk about than any other league around. We're back underway. Lincoln City throwing it in down. It's been how would you describe this half? I wouldn't even call it missed opportunities. I would call it scrambly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just missed opportunities and misfires everywhere. It's one of those ones our basketball coach would say that we're racing. Everybody's trying. The effort is there. People are spry. It's not like you're not into it, but the passes are missing. I don't even know what that long ball was for. The one player, Watts, and there's another flop, not being helped out by the referee, who's calling every time somebody hits the deck, there's a free kick. And so it's just stop and start and stop and start. And we're back underway again. Is McGrandles, who I will always recognize because maybe that's it. You draw attention to yourself because you put on a performance like that and people pay attention to you. He's the only player on the field other than Woods maybe who missed that kick who I could recognize with a snap of the finger just by seeing him. And there's got to be cards both ways.
No, they didn't see the second one.
Didn't see the second one.
I don't think so.
My word. That guy got cleared out, and there's going to be no card on a late challenge.
Look at that. Look at what he just called a yellow. Holy crap. Watch this replay.
Oh, I mean, he did get studs, but that's a free kick, not a yellow. The other one was more egregious.
Yes.
Stuck in the right thigh. Caught the guy up high, spun him around in the corner. That's the most contact we've seen in the first half. I've seen in the first half, and nothing out of it. Sweeney here's the challenge, and hung it out anyways. Corner.
You missed earlier, Lake Lecco, who's I believe in Australia. I forget where now, but he was born in Barnsley, so he's looking forward to the Barnsley Wrexham
Yorkshire.
in a few weeks. Yeah.
Barnsley's in a weird location for Yorkshire because it's not in an area that I've, really gone, because it's kind of off the beaten track from everything else. But I know where it is. Lots of good podcast stuff. Have you been following as we get 45 minutes? Let's do this, and then we'll talk at the half just about what's going on in the universe. A right-footed in-swinger going to be coming from the left-hand side. It's flat, it's middle, and it's punched out. Whew.
Yeah. And a whistle's blown for someone diving on the ground.
Diving, and a stern talking to.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to take this ref, and I never want to see this guy do a match with us ever. I'm gonna have to.
No, there's no way that James McLean and our midfield
Dobson,
make it out of the game. Make it through the game.
You'd probably be happy that it's just 2 yellow cards before you get to a red, because they'd hit the entire suspension accumulation penalty to pick up all 5 yellow cards if you didn't have a 2-game cap with this guy. This is the worst officiated half I've seen of football.
He's absolutely killed the game, which, the players are largely contributing to it, but
what do you do as a professional? If the guy's going to be calling and he's going to be doing it the other way, you are now obligated to do the same thing, right? And kudos, that guy gets my man of the match. Hamilton, fighting through instead of going to ground to keep the ball alive. I hope they score here. Football gods, give it to him. No. As he fought through 3-4 challenges trying to continue to make a play, when he had an opportunity, he could have just hit the deck and pulled the free kick. But absolutely atrocious. Oh, interesting. Was that a flop, or did he get pushed there? Sweeney ended up taking a shot in the back by Kadamar Terry, and I think he got beat. And I'm not sure that he's the captain. I'm not sure whether he went down easy or whether it was a cheeky little push in the back that made sure
he went down ridiculously easy on 2 of them earlier. He's awful. Just atrocious at that. He's willing to go down. He's looking for opportunities to take a break.
It's nice to know that we both have a friendly start to this one. You and I are in a good mood getting into the Stockport game. What an opportunity there for a header with a far swinging, looping opportunity that's just banged away by House. Well struck, 35 yards, and being able to get it into the middle of the box and with that enough force to try and get that flick on. You don't see that very often. And so well done there.
Yeah, like Lecco with the imagery of the seal clubbing. That's great.
Ben, you would be going through all of the GIF flopping exercises through this one for sure.
We had
we're at the half.
And it's done. Thanks,
Lecco. Appreciate it, man. And you have to tell me, because I wasn't here, whereabouts in Oz that you're from. I will say, and I haven't mentioned this or tweeted about it because I kind of want to do a video about it. So there's 2 things that I'm working on and want to work on anyway. A new podcast came out called Where Has the Money Gone? And it's not a new podcast. It's a long extended one, but one that's new to me. I don't know if you've heard of it, or did you listen to any podcast this week? Their episode of the Charlton Athletic Wrexham game, and with the managing director of Charlton talking about Wrexham, is one of the most, if not, it's the best single episode of a podcast I've heard related to Wrexham in the entire time and no disrespect to Rob Ryan Red and Eat More Chips and Fearless in Devotion and all of, and to Matt, Racecourse Ramble and all the people who do podcast stuff. But to hear a third-party manager speak to somebody who understands sports governance and finance and talk about critically and to critically talk about Wrexham and what they've done, both positively and negatively, and how other teams are responding to the followership, they called it, of Wrexham, was one of the best listens. And I want to go through and sort of fact check and get through the background so that people can understand, because it was just there was so much brilliance in it, and it was in 30 minutes that I think you could make that into like a 6-hour episode where you dissect it. And so if you haven't had a chance to go and listen to that, mark it down. It's Where Has the Money Gone? And it's the most recent one, or one of two. I haven't checked if they've come out with another one since then. Great stuff on that one. The other thing, did you listen to Rob Ryan Red prior to Port Vale talking about Wrexham's logo, the badge? The badge.
Yes.
And they invited somebody to go and say, if you were to recreate the Wrexham badge, not saying that it needs to be recreated, not saying that it should be, but just what would that look like? What would it look like? And so I commissioned the guy who did this to make a logo based on what I think would be I'm not suggesting it should replace the badge, but if you were going to talk about it, what should it look like? And so I'm excited to see what that draft comes out with, and get a look at that. So those have been the things that I've been up to in trying to get things, and hopefully I can get on the Who Are Ya this week as things are settling in the universe. Anything that you've been up to as far as Wrexham, kicking around, looking at things, figuring out life?
No, just taking care of all sorts of other stuff, very much like you in my personal life. Not at the pace that you are, though, obviously.
Professional life, yeah. You've been, end of year stuff for you gets busy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably true for everybody, but to a certain extent, but definitely a real thing. Yeah, no, it's going to be madness for me for an extended stretch here, but it's starting to settle in. We're just dealing with, the house is so close to being done, and then we had the guy come in yesterday and stuff up a whole bunch of painting and got it absolutely everywhere, all over our brand new floors. And we were going to spend the weekends getting the kids' room all set up and being able to unpack like the 30 boxes of toys. Like, of all of the boxes that we brought in during the renovation, if you haven't been here, been bought a home, renovated it, gutted the entire thing. Of all of, like, you've got your clothes, you've got your, all sorts of things. It's the kids' toys. 30 boxes of freaking toys. It's ridiculous. I'm going to have to start to scale back on the spoiled little buggers. Going through. So the numbers, interestingly enough, looking at the numbers that are on the screen in front of me, 65.9% the possession for Exeter City. It didn't feel that way to me. 71% pass accuracy to 54% for Exeter City. Like, when you look at these statistics in isolation, it looks as though Exeter City dominated Lincoln City, which isn't what I saw for the 30-ish minutes, 35 minutes that I was watching. Did you get a sense that this was statistically dominated by Exeter?
I thought they were better with the ball than Lincoln is, but
yes.
So it doesn't surprise me that they had more possession. By the way, like, they weren't, let's kick it around and hold it. They were constant. They played offensively more like Wrexham, trying to quickly make something happen.
That's what I was. If Lincoln City found the efficiency, they play a direct style, very similar to Wrexham.
Except defensively, they double team a lot, where we seem to
find our shell,
far more willing to only leave one on the ball and drop a lot of people in the box.
Yeah.
They double team on the far wing and try to dispossess the other team, which, you'd think would cause the other team not to have a lot of possession. But Lincoln doesn't seem to do a ton with it. Like, they don't hold it very long, and they don't carry it into dangerous positions. They're not as effective when they have it, I guess. I do like the offense for Exeter. I think they would be very scary. I could see them. I would expect that Exeter would have games where things are clicking and they rush so many guys forward, and they seem very offensive minded that they would. They'd have a lot of games with big goals. But
and the part that I've been impressed, if there has been a part with Exeter City, is they've found non-traditional entries into the box, like curling, looping passes that have found gaps that maybe players in this game so far haven't been able to run into.
yeah,
And so, if you'll recall, I can't remember what game it was, but there was that one team that kept doing that far switch to the opposite side. It was about 2 months ago, and it seemed to break us down every time because it was kind of a look that we'd never seen that frequently. And Wrexham struggled to answer it. I'm trying to remember who that was. It's that sort of those sorts of entries that just don't follow the script that Exeter City has been able to pull off.
we do like Wrexham, that's for sure. Like we gotta still, like, when things calm down for you, we gotta find a way to get out to out there.
I will be looking to plan a trip here shortly. The question for why is my X rotating? So I guess maybe I won't be pulling that up. Interesting. I've never seen that before. I need to get out there, and my wife needs to get back home for an extent. It's been 2 years. But then there's also like the beaches of Barbados calling, and that would be a lot of fun. And so we'll see what ends up happening for this year. But I do need to go out. And I've been waiting for this magical moment where the houses have sold and we're all settled in and the bills are paid. And we've learned that despite all the money spent, we're not going to go bankrupt out of the whole process, which is the success that we'll figure it all out. So I wanted to bring up the injury stuff while we had an opportunity, as there are 30 of you watching this on Twitter. Feel free to come over to YouTube and say hi and hit the like button and follow along with this one. And I've been chatting with somebody else, a potential new show that might just show up every 2 weeks or so with somebody. So I'm going to keep that one under wraps. But going through the injury stuff, Ogonkwo out for 6 weeks, Boyle for 5, Bolton for 5, Jones out for 2 weeks. Evans making good progress and might be close to returning. Fletcher's had a specialist a setback and is getting reassessed and not expected back. And Marriott out for 4 months. Holy. Like, we're going to get to the January window and we're going to look to bring people on when we've got 6 people coming back from injury. Like, that is the triage center that is Wrexham AFC at the moment. And you look around the league, I don't know anybody who's got sort of the same outcome, the same circumstances that we do. Is it just bad luck? Or do you, at what point do you look at physio? Do you look at Parkey and say you're overplaying players? Is that the issue? Is it just unfortunate circumstances? Why the hell are we so beat up?
When I was watching the game and they said Boyle went out in warmups and then Bolton went down so quickly, for about a half a second, I said, I wonder if these guys are like getting injured because they're upset that they're not getting enough playing time. And it was like this coordinated thing, because when you looked at Bolton going down, it didn't look like anything. It looked like he just decided, okay, I'm going to sit down now and call it quits. You really didn't see a moment that you thought stressed him enough to injure. And when a guy gets hurt in warmups, I'm like, how do you do that? Like, what are you doing?
But what benefit would it be to strategically do that? I mean, it's
no. I didn't think it was real. Like, I not enough for us to debate it. I just said for a half a second, I'm like, this is way too strange. Like, it's almost like people are planning it, that we're all of a sudden at a very bad time, these players are just going down for, a non-contact thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, they do look a little cursed right now, right? Because a guy going down in warm-ups, and we've had that happen twice this year. Guy hurting him, best scorer on the sprinkler head. Didn't see Fletcher get injured in any games. Now you got your keeper with a broken hand. I didn't think he fell all that hard. He just seemed to put his hand down and just broke it. I don't know. Maybe it was on the shot that he deflected.
As inappropriate as it was, I'll admit that I had a dark laugh where somebody from Stockport County took the Deadpool very first movie, the fight on the bridge where
the wrist. Oh, that's
and was
funny.
posting that, and I was like, you know what, that deserves one of these as far as banter goes. And somebody was talking about, don't make fun of somebody who was injured. I was like, no, that's class. Like that's top level banter right there, is pulling out the Deadpool wrist. And like Lico, I appreciate that. It is definitely a love for Wrexham. And I'm still shocked. I had a coworker who walked into the office and was like, have you seen that documentary on Disney or Netflix involving a team out in Wales?
You know who I am?
and I was like, I've heard of them. Why don't you tell me what you know? I was like, I've told you that I'm on YouTube talking about a Welsh football club, and you couldn't connect the dots. I won't insult my colleague and not being able to connect that one. As I wear a Wrexham, I wear Wrexham kit on Fridays into the office, like not every weekend but pretty damn regularly. And so, anyways, we are 28 minutes away from the roster, the lineup card being dropped. What are our predictions? Burton's going to be on the back line. Is EOC going to find his way back into a game? Brunt's getting closer to earning himself at least a look, I think. But whether off the bench or otherwise.
If they didn't get Matty James, I could have seen a move where O'Connell
TOC moves forward
and goes in for O'Connor and he moves into the midfield, especially on an away game. I could see that happening. You want to be, not that O'Connor is specifically defensive minded, but he's not offensive minded, right? So he kind of brings that George Evans vibe out there.
It's tough. That'd be his offside though too, right?
So I don't know what they'd switch around if they put Scar over there and leave O'Connor in the middle, or if they would flip-flop Max. I don't know what they would do.
But I think as it sits, it's going to be Scar, Cleworth, and O'Connor in the back. In the midfield, is it? Dobson, you're penciling in. Lee, you're penciling in. I guess as to the other person, do you see it being Rathbone, Cannon, Evans? I don't think is back healthy. Good morning, Deandra. How are you? Do you see it being, we're away? That would make me lean towards it being Rathbone over Cannon as a slight edge. But do you see any other combination there?
No, I don't. I think Rathwood's been coming on. I was worried. He seemed to take a while to gel. He looked really good last couple of times. But, you need goals, and Rathbone's definitely not that.
I will say, of all I went out for lunch with Jason in extending these. We've got this new go get Korean food and talk Wrexham thing. It's kind of fun. As we're about to get underway here in the Lincoln City match, Exeter City match, but he was saying when he met all of the players, the fascinating part was with respect to Dobson is just how small he was. He said he doesn't think you get an appreciation for how tiny he is compared to Dobson's small. There's a couple of players, but he was like,
is it small because he always is hunched over, or is it?
No, he just said he's just.
Yeah, I would have thought that of like Revan. I would have thought that you'd be shocked because I bet you he's a really tiny guy.
Yeah, for him that was the shock, and he saw everybody, met everybody before the Northampton game, and was impressed with how, whoa, that's going to be a yellow card. Whitworth didn't sell that, and probably could have, but you can't get that close to a keeper on a challenge into the box. And well done for Whitworth just to get up and carry on with his way as he got the foot in on that attempt. And I've got to bring this up. Hey, A2Z, is everybody starting to wake up? I don't feel as bad. Everybody else getting their day started. It was just Brendan who got hung out to dry, having to cover a game the first 10, 15 minutes when he wasn't expecting to, because I was comfortably in bed until the emergency alarm went off at 4:25. And I was like, that's the last one. Oh, no. 46 minutes and 10 seconds in.
Leco, Will.i.am, and Denise stopped in for a minute just to say, oh, hi, how you doing? So I had one or two people on the stream with me for the first 15 minutes. And I was like, Sean did it to me again. He faked me out.
Hung him out to dry. We're only a minute and a half in, and this is just the same scramble that's been going on. And it's Exeter City taking, it's just this whole thing. It's like, describe exactly what you're watching on the pitch. There's a back heel scorpion attempt that tries to advance the ball forward. It's a misplay by the right back. It gets forward down the middle of the pitch, and then it's thumped down to the keeper, who quickly restarts it to the right. There's no flow to this game while the game's in play, and there's no flow because the referee, he'll probably call a free kick here because I can see a tackle or something happening. No, all the way down left-hand side, Harper with it, cross into the box, nothing of it. Whistle blows. Offside. And you finally connect with something, and the reason why it doesn't go anywhere, offside. It's just scrambly. Oh, it wasn't even close. He was 2 yards offside on that one. Easy call for the lino. It always fascinates me when, and I know some of these clubs, like we're playing this one in Lincoln City, you look at the small stand to the left of the camera. I don't know whether that's north, east, south, or west, and it's a total of what, 4 or 5 rows, and it's been roofed and it's covered. Why bother? As far as a planning perspective, Lincoln City opportunity, right foot, and it's going to go for a corner, deflected out. Moylan taking the shot. It looks like it hit Watts and just missed over to the right-hand side. It is true. We say this about Exeter City with their possession. We say this about them looking to advance the ball forward. No real threat in the final third and scrambling all over the place. But give Lincoln City credit for just being direct at all times. Right-footed in swinger, going to be coming from, I don't know who that is. Missed it. And anyways, it goes down and then it's volleyed forward and then kicked on in advance, and Whitworth just calmly collects. There must have been a sub here. Moylan was the individual taking that as Woods grabs it. And just another example of just scrambly play. Tries to play it back to the left back and it gets knocked out of play, and we're going to have a throw in, and that's Woods, who didn't put his feet on today. Like, he missed that shot earlier, that pass. He just bangs off and misses the pass, and it goes out of play. He's been having himself a bad game. Not as bad as the referee in this one. But there he is again. Woods collected and then tried to advance it forward with no luck. Scramble. Thumped, cleared, over the head. Scorpion bounces off the ground. Trying to settle it down is Monsma. Giveaway, another turnover, left-hand side. Moylan everywhere, into the box, into the area, along the line, and stabbed forward and out of play. An opportunity there. Lost. So we'll probably see Moylan again on the right-hand side, taking this free kick. I'm seeing numbers, and they're just not aligning, and I'm trying to figure out. It was Purington who ended up having to save that one with the right footer and knocking it out. As here goes your favorite player, the captain here, puffing his chest out. Sweeney having words, fingers pointed. I might have a new favorite non-Wrexham player. Not Sweeney. Is that a sub? I want that player. It's not Dorica. I'm gonna have to come back to that. Short corner. Sweeney sitting there having words, clearly upset, and just the smiles and the cheeky little insults, and you can just see the barbs and the banter coming the other way, and Sweeney just getting more and more heated with every calm little retort that went the other way. And that wasn't. I'm sure it was a 6 on the jerseys. In any event, Whitworth gets us back underway, moves it forward. .51.5 minutes in, ball collected, gets it over to the right-hand side. Jeffries collects it, brings it back. Wickens up the left-hand side. This is better from Lincoln City. I think this is the longest stretch of possession that they've had as they get it into the center of the area. 35 yards out, opportunity into the box, into the area, drilled and captured by Whitworth. That was well built up all the way through the back. House gets the last opportunity and just not able to collect it, as I'm still trying to figure out who the man is that passed him, because I'm a fan.
It's well struck. A lot of power behind that.
It was well struck. Lots of power. Just as far as placement goes, he kicked it into the one place where he shouldn't have, and that was the
but
chest
as hard
of
as
the
it was kicked, you saw the keeper struggle with it.
Yes, that's what I mean. Anywhere else, and that's in the back of the net. Who is this number 6 guy, and why can't I see him? There he is. Came in the 46th minute. Ethan Arahone. Ethan Arahone.
It was mandatory A to Z. He was told divorce papers were imminent if he didn't grow the beard back, so he had no choice.
Yep. And it has been a while. I have Purington as a last name is amazing. Knocked out, throw in the other way, going to be 9 yards away from the goal line for Lincoln City. To me, it starts to feel like the needle has started to shift here a little bit. Lincoln City, who's been on the front foot when they've had the ball, they've been aggressive, they've been advancing quickly. There hasn't been build-up, hasn't been a center back kickabout. When they get the ball, they go. It's very similar, at least in attack, to what you would get from Wrexham and Exeter City looking to make moves early, which makes sense. You get into the second half, and for the first 8 minutes, it's all been one-sided. You look to make some changes to modify things. Thrown into the box, and it's there, and it's to the moon. Gets underneath it. McGrandles. Nobody's sitting really above, other than O'Connor, Monsma, and Krama. Everybody else is sitting at 6 or below on the FOTMOB scores. It's just been an ugly game in a lot of respects. As the ball gets advanced forward, Harper trying to chase it down, knocked down and cleared. You had time there to do something with it, did you? O'Connor just not able to do anything.
You didn't get to see much of it, but Harper was very Barnett-like in the first 10, 15 minutes. Seems to be a good player for them.
Deandra going for an Exeter win, trying to keep the gap between us and number 4 on the table. So these guys, to me, are top enough. Like I always take the draw rather than have 3 points be given out in any given match. I'd rather take 2 points, split them up. Yeah,
I was saying before this started, the difference between 3rd and 11th, where Exeter was 3 points, one game. So all those teams are in play. You don't want any of them scoring.
And we've been saying, a month ago anyway, with Birmingham, we want them to clear everybody out as much as they can, knock them all out, don't drop points, just go ahead and take first place, win the championship, and help us out by stripping points off of people. As they've started to falter a little bit, oh man, that's a horrible flop. This game. Hamilton feels contact and throws himself forward. Just the whiplash, like the risk of injuring your neck with that sort of movement.
Yeah, the faking is more potential for damage than the
actual tackle itself.
Yeah,
it makes the game unwatchable.
They kill all momentum. Yes,
and I know that it's part of the game and all that sort of stuff, but God, get it out of it.
Well, that's the other. We come, both of us, Sean, come from a culture where, like, you're supposed to play hurt, and you're supposed to, like games would get chippy. Most of all my sporting matches would almost have some sort of fight, 1 or 2, right? And it was all about being tough, and you didn't want a soft foul. You weren't searching that out. You were, gutting everything out and being as physical as possible, and that's what was expected. This is just
you're from Boston, and Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins is a player who I absolutely respect, because he's a small guy, works his butt off. He plays through difficult challenges, hits, but he also understands and appreciates the pulse of the game. And he is a player who will take that soft penalty in the dying seconds of the 3rd period to be able to take an advantage of something. And there's a strategy involved. They call him the Rat for a reason, but there's an art to it, and you kind of have to respect it, because he plays through so much. Like, he gets smashed more than anybody else in the league. He's a target. He's an agitator, but he plays through it. He proves his worth. He's tough as nails, but he finds opportunities to get calls. You don't get that in a game like this. The wind is blowing like a gentle breeze in Aruba, and players are all over the deck.
See, now that's the difference. We have respect for a James McLean who would wind someone up and then be willing to stand in there and take a punch or go hit someone extra hard to prove a point, or to get his team pumped up, or to, like, all of that. That's where our respect is. This stuff, absolutely not.
Not. And this is maybe the worst game I've seen in 10 years for just the foolishness that's happening on the pitch, being aided and abetted by the referee. Like, that's a foul. Like, there's still fouls that are legitimate. Happened there, a legitimate foul. But it's where we had 10 minutes of decent football, it's resorted back into just this unwatchable mess. Like, I want a refund. And you can't tell the quality of the players, the quality of the game. It's a 0-0 uneventful mess of players flopping all over the pitch. This is more scripted than the Paul Tyson fight was. Maybe the guy should go to improv class to pretend in a safe manner.
Kane was commenting about we obviously don't watch the NBA. I can tell you this. I watched the NBA when, and I played basketball when the first time you drive down the lane, someone would clothesline you just to let you know you weren't allowed to do that, right? Like, and the ref would just call a regular foul.
Mitchell, the sub, just an opportunity there. Well done by Mitchell with the pace on the left-hand side. Sorry to interrupt. You just came dancing along
No.
the
It was a good
entire
attempt
end
by
line.
them. They're really nifty in there, aren't they? Like they have 4 guys up on attack. They pass in tight windows.
That was impressive once they started to go. But this run by Mitchell, he runs across, gets to the front, advances in front of the D, and then just one touch, two touch, and it's back on Mitchell's foot, and he pushes it off wide right, and they take a short corner. That was probably one of the better plays that has happened the whole way through, and they're going to get another corner here for Exeter City over on the right-hand side.
Yeah. So I've thought the NBA's gone way down once the Europeans came in. I loved the skill and the fundamentals, but they also brought flopping from watching too much football, and that was the start of the overacting and in the NBA, and now it gets to the point where it gets unwatchable like this.
In ice hockey, if you pull this nonsense, you're going to have to answer the bell because somebody will just grab you
knock your head off,
and start swinging at you for not playing to code.
Yeah, it's a totally different honor system. That's why they have those just before the puck drops. They'll get even from a game before, and they'll send someone over and say, "You're going to have to fight. We'll leave it 1-on-1. If you don't do this, we're going to take him out during the game far worse. Have him come out, drop it, clean fight. Both guys go to the bench."
Was it the Rangers and the Devils 2 seasons ago that came back after there was a whole bunch of shenanigans that happened at the end of the game prior? And so in hockey, when they announced the starting lineup, the Rangers, the home team, gets to go second, and the visiting team put out all their big guys. And so the Rangers responded and put out all their big guys. And before the puck dropped, and literally it was just a yard sale, gloves and everything, as everybody just answered the bell. And I'm not saying I'm an advocate for fighting in football. Whoa! Inadvertent collision, as that was the first real contact that happened. Is McGrandles ends up taking out Atchison there, and no call. But I don't think you can give a call. It was an inadvertent. That was a steady shot to the chest here. Loose ball, and he's just standing there, and the ball gets deflected, and by the time he stops to turn around, they collide into each other. But a big thump there.
So is one of your all-time favorite movies Slapshot? Because if not, it should be.
It is. But you watch like Slapshot, you even watch Youngblood. And that has the code detailed and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying that we're saying there has to be fighting in football and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not even saying that you have to act tough and it's part of the machismo of toxic masculinity or masculinity in any sense. I'm just saying stop flopping. Stop over exaggerating to the incidents that occur on the pitch. And it has to start with FIFA, UEFA, and come down. You're ruining it. To me, it ruins an amazing sport because I don't want to pay to watch the guys roll around on the deck. And the only way you do it is a concerted effort to take it out of the game. And unfortunately, we paid $18, $15 US to suffer through. Like if this was the product that was being sold on the documentary of Welcome to Wrexham, it would never have captured anybody because this is garbage. And I'm not blaming Exeter City or Lincoln City and its players. I'm largely blaming the official here, who I'll have to look up his name after the game, or if somebody has it. We are 6 minutes away from finding out who and what will be starting in the upcoming Stockport match. And thanks for those of you who are joining early, 65 minutes in to this one, an hour away from there. Once this one's over, we'll head over and start the preview show over on the other stream. I should find that stream and make sure we connect it at some point in time. But 65 minutes, and it's just been a scrambling match, just grabbing jersey pulls all over the place.
I got to tell you, I am rooting for to see Bodvarsson and Josh
Mullen?
Adams in the starting lineup. That would
Ooh, you're going bold. Oh, that's a foul. Yep. Woods wiping out, and this is my guy Arahon. See that sly little look he has? He is under the skin. That's both Sweeney and now it's Woods, and Woods is getting a yellow card for that one. This Arahon kid, there's something about him that has miffed the other side, and I don't know what it is because he came in the second half in the 46th minute, and he is under skin. And Woods is still giving it to him, and Arahon just sitting there innocently. I may have a new favorite player not in a Wrexham jersey. Taking the mantle from Flint. Woods is still after him. And Woods was the one who committed the foul. Woods is the one who cleaned him out. Magic.
If he didn't get a yellow, I'd expect he'd do it again.
Yeah, it's Arahon with it again, and then he takes a right, and then he gets grabbed there and forced to the ground. And just keep playing your game, sir. Take it quick, you bet. As here comes another chat. The referee's starting to get the sense, and Arahon back onto Woods. And now is he pulling? Is the referee pulling Arahon forward? The skipper stepped in, and Arahon and Woods having a chat, and there's no gross exaggeration or demonstrable, Arahon, whatever he says and whatever he's doing, it must be magic because he has him twisted. Massive fan. This in 10 minutes. I have all the time in the world as now the official comes over to talk to Arahon and settle him down. You want to talk about making your mark he's been playing well. That's 3 incidents where he's had the ball, made the play, and then gets cleared out and give it to him. Oh, he made a run by himself forward, and they decided to go long up over top of his head. I want a 1-1 draw now because I just want Arahon to score one just for the drama. As you can see him blasting forward, and he almost had an opportunity before they looped it forward and missed everybody, and it goes out for a goal kick that Whitworth will take. Monsma missing that opportunity. This game isn't without its fun as much as we've been hard on. The referee for Saturday's match will be Thomas Parsons. That's the man for this one. Thomas Parsons. You got to remember that one. I don't want this guy. Conan O'Brien lookalike.
Are you allowed to have the ginger on ginger hate crimes?
I suppose.
You're not sticking up for your fellow brethren there. But...
No. I'm not a card carrying member. Apparently, I'm saying bad things. Arahon with the ball, left hand side, gets it over 9-yard box. Opportunity here, dancing and around the corner, entered in and cleared up over top. Moylan advancing it into the box will get a corner over on the right-hand side as it's cleared. Lincoln City applying the screws, asking the questions, and Sweeney, what, did you dislocate your shoulder or your wrist? Or Moylan running opposite side to end up taking this as at least a short corner option. 5 players in the box, all grouped together for Lincoln City. Ruffin, left-footed, in-swinger, far post, up, cleared away. Krama, the Frenchman, 23 years of age, eating up lots of minutes. As far as center-back options goes, and I haven't talked about Krama, but largely when you review the social media posts involving Exeter City and you read the reviews, seems to be sort of the heart of their back line, the heart of the team defensively, and having himself quite the hell of a season from all accounts. Right-footed in-swinger the other side, and Krama there to put that one again as it lands to Arahon outside the area. He moves it over to the left-hand side, and we're going to get another entry into the box. Dancing along the goal line into the area, scooped forward, stopped, loose, cleared away. onto the foot of another player, skipped up in the air, and nobody's able to get a clearance. Krama tries to get ahead to it, and finally Woods, part of the Ginger Brethren, who slams it away. Whitworth has been having himself a solid game. That left-hand stab that he had in the first half, able to clear it away. Another clearance there that I think had that top corner pegged, and he was able to climb the ladder, get up and punch that one away. And then just an overextended loose ball scramble in the area. Arahone with it. Left-hand side.
This looks like Lincoln had just brought a
Turn the switch on.
Play the second half. This is ridiculous.
Turn the switch on as Moylan smashes that one forward, and if he gets knocked out, and Moylan will go take another corner on the opposite side. We'll get messages. I can't check my phone because I'm streaming it.
I think they're good. Lincoln's bound to score if Exeter doesn't fake some injury, kill some time, and try to squash the momentum. Lincoln's just flying right now.
They are headed into the box. The corner got nothing out of it, and so now it's just a battle as they're playing ping pong between the center backs as the ball advances forward, and Wickens is going to collect it for Lincoln City and look to turn it the other way. And I do appreciate, to me, the part of the game that I appreciate that Lincoln City does play is they have the giddy up. They're on the go. They get it to Arahone. He quickly tries to move it forward into the center and then gets his legs taken out. The yellow card coming to Sweeney. Hung the left foot out there too long. Ended up taking him out. Yellow card deserved because there was also an opportunity for numbers in a counter-attack position. He's still grabbing his thumb. "40 yards out. Lots of white jerseys move forward over to the right-hand side, and so they're looking to serve this up as Ruffin. It takes all of Ruffin and Moylan take all of the free kick stuff. And Moylan not going to take it. Ruffin, left foot, searching. That's too far off of his foot, isn't it? Bounces around. No, it's clear. Forward in. Oh, just off the top of the net. Oh, missed opportunity there.
That was a powerful header that it wasn't a blast, but it was a well-struck header and just a little high.
I'm just trying to figure out. Jeffries was the man who got that bullet right-footed over, and it was that's why it was Katimer Terry, but I thought it was 19, and I'm not finding a 19. Katimer Terry, the striker,
that's the one that was linked to Wrexham, if you remember, one of the young academy guys, and he's been almost invisible. It was invisible the first half of the game.
Injured player on the pitch. Dariqua, I believe that to be. Ooh, cleared out in the air. "73 minutes. The lineup's out. I haven't looked. Let's go and have a look at that. That's the more pressing question, isn't it? And I don't know what's going on with my X. I'm not able to get to it from the normal source. So let's get into it. I'm not going to be able to tweet this out, obviously, but let's update it live as to who we're dealing with, and also who Stockport's going to be bringing forward and putting in their back line. Is it Hinchliffe or is it a die? We'll get to that one in a second. For us, Burton is expected with the injury and the back line. Cleworth, Scar, and O'Connor. We were right there, Brendan. On the wings, Ryan Barnett. He's the first person you pen down in any roster, and he's starting 11. He's there. James McLean on the left-hand side, wearing the captain's armband. In the middle, Dobson, Cannon, and Lee. So no Rathbone in this one. Rathbone sitting on the bench, and so we were debating that as I thought it would be Rathbone today, but nope. Cannon gets to start, and up front, interesting. Ollie Palmer and Bodferson. Mullen on the bench with Mo Fall. Interesting in that you've got two hold-up men. I'm curious. You've got one who's the setup guy, one who's the hold-up guy. So that'll be interesting to watch on the back. On the Chomp on the bench, obviously O'Connell sitting there on the bench. Revan as your winger replacement. You've got Matty James and Rathbone sitting in there with Mo Fall and Paul Mullen.
That might be the better lineup. If you think that you were going to get Barney was going to be active, you were going to be able to get him the ball, and he was going to cross. You'd want the taller Bodvarsson into to get the headers, and he's clever in tight spaces. I think that would be a decent plan if you think that they're going to let Barney have possession out there.
Yeah, or well, even if he doesn't, I mean, Nigel Clough tried to double team out there in the Mansfield game, and it didn't work, and Barney still found a way. I just don't think that Bodvarsson, as far as his headers goes, despite his height, is the guy. Like, I think if that was the strategy, you bring in Mo Fall. To me, Bodvarsson is Bodvarsson. It's his vision that is his asset. It's his setup play that is his asset. As Exeter City gets an opportunity here, cross over and cleared out by Lincoln City's.
The thing is he was really good with Adams and everything. And again, I've been super critical of Lee not being aggressive enough. Lee has to really press forward. And I could easily see Bodvarsson passing, ball goes into Bodvarsson, he kicks it back to a streaking Lee to blast it from distance,
Yeah. Stockport, no surprises in this one. The only question where it really was, is it going to be Hinchliffe or is it going to be Corey Adai? Think that you had to go with Hinchliffe, who got his first start in the last one, got a clean sheet in that 5-0 win over Bolton. Lewis Bate there as a captain. Fraser Horsfall, who's the despite not wearing the armband, he's the leader of their back line. Southam Hales is in the name that there's two names. I mean, you look at their goal scoring. Barry has 10 goals and Wooten has, is it 5 or 6? And then after that, nobody has more than 2 goals. If you can keep Wooten and Barry off the score sheet, you're probably going to win the game, at least get a point out of it. But that's easier said than done, and especially with Louis Barry, who tends to eat us for breakfast. Not looking forward to watching his plays. Exeter City, an opportunity slammed forward, and the player who took it, he got cleared out there pretty solid, and he's rolling around on the deck. Mitchell, and I don't think that's a faking of the injury. I think that's a legitimate left leg problem. He slammed the hell out of that one, and when in doing so, made contact with the defender. And that just looked painful. Watch this one as the kick comes forward here. Comes back to Mitchell. Right here.
Yeah, he ran into the guy. And
yeah, it's not the defender's fault at all. It was just an awkward swing.
The defender was facing the other way.
Yeah, that's what I said. Not intentional by any stretch. So Hinchliffe gets it. I don't know what, as far as your, like Ethan Pye, Kyle Wooten, Louis Barry, those are the 3 players for me. And Fraser Horsfall. I mean, as much credit as I've given to Aiden Flint on Mansfield Town last year, and apparently you were saying, because you watched the game, he had Mullen dead to rights in the matchup against and well covered in the matchup against us last week. Fraser Horsfall just quietly goes about his business, and that's what you want from a center back. Just quietly goes about his business and just stops attacks and makes the play.
Not that it was a full slate last week of games, right? But no, wait a minute, it was last week. But for team of the week, both Wooten and Barry were the choices at striker, and their midfielder, was it Bale or something? One of their midfielders also were guys with the highest, bot mob scores there.
Wooten and Barry are going to have themselves a good game, right? It's like Barnett. Barnett's gonna serve it up. These guys are going to be danger through the area. It'll be interesting to see Dan Scar as a matchup, because where we've struggled against Louis Barry in every game that we've played against him is his ability to run at you on the deck. We've struggled to deal with it, and
that's
it's
Dobson hanging back, right? Like
so Dobson's back there. Scar is there. That's going to be the matchup that decides, I think, a lot of what happens in this game.
Yeah. I would guess Dobson's going to sink back in, focus on Barry, let Wooten get handled by Scar and Cleworth and whoever else. Well, I think Barry plays on the left, right, and Wooten on the right. So I guess it would be O'Connor dealing with Wooten. But
the thing about Louis that is even though wherever you pen him, he just seems to be all over the pitch, right? Like he's almost like a rover, just floats wherever is necessary. We'll see. We will know with Stockport, I think, given their last 5 games or so, 10 or 15 minutes in, whether they're in it or they're not. And
exactly,
and it's interesting. You read some comments from the fans, the Stockport fans have been exceptionally critical in the saying that when they don't have it, the team tends to pack it in, and they just don't show up at all. It's almost as though they just turn the switch off whenever the pressure jumps onto them this year, which I wouldn't have attributed that to Stockport and the character and quality of the players that we've seen. But there seems to be some disenchanted, almost like the players are giving up moments in discussion that have been out there. It's going to be an interesting one because obviously we're injured to high hell. Craig Smith, if you don't follow him on Twitter, you should, with the interesting insight as well that it's unfortunate that Ogonkwo is not going to see the bright lights of Edgeley Park. If you'll remember, it was the 5-0 blowout that made us go out and get Ogonkwo. And he gets his opportunity in the game before going back for sort of the Wrexham vindication. And,
as far as starters go, though, you're just talking Okonkwo and Marriott, really, right? Other than that, and you really weren't expecting Marriott. And if Mullen had started the season and got at least a goal or two, they still wouldn't be giving Marriott much of a look, right? So, I mean, we're largely just down Okonkwo as far as starters go. Everybody else is a luxury have.
Sure.
What I'm saying,
we've got a lot of depth. Opportunity here. Lincoln City, Moynihan just into the box. He runs into a wall of 3 red and white jerseys, not able to get it as we are 8 minutes away from what I think is an appropriate outcome for the match. Lincoln City probably in the second half, well, they have been the better club in the second half, but nothing really exceptionally threatening in this one and just scrambly play. And Deandra was talking earlier about 1-1-0. Lee says, I think we need an early goal to set our stall out, keeping pressure on their defense. I hope we stop the long ball as it doesn't work. And Brendan just said, I agree. I was just going to say, absolutely. Brendan, all over it. It's I'm okay with a dirty 1-0 win. My score prediction people probably won't like, but I don't think we're walking away from this one with points. But we'll see. Sometimes you just don't.
If they weren't so hit or miss, I would be more worried. But it feels like a flip of the coin with them. So I'm optimistic that the coin, flips our way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get the uninterested Stockport team that allows us to dominate.
I just don't. You're looking at. You don't think that Stockport's going to get up for this one? It's interesting. The scarf.
I hear you, but is it so?
Hold on, opportunity here. Lincoln City into the box, right-footed, and what was that? That much space, that open, 10 yards away from goal. Look at you count the clock. Is this running at full time? He gets the pass here. Nobody over there. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 2.5 seconds. And
he was relatively close. Some of the other blasts in a similar situation have been atrocious.
Fair.
That was, He looked like he was trying to put some action on it and bend it in high. Oh, look at that pushing of the bench.
Why are you getting fancy? Put it in the back of the net.
Fighting the physio.
Did he just push what's going on here?
Oh, red.
That's a red. Who's this guy? Is that the physio guy?
Yeah.
Red. He's going, what do you mean? And what I'm also curious about is this the coach from the other side of the box who's all the way over? So the ball goes out of play, and somebody for Exeter City, their coaching staff, a physio guy or whatever, grabs the ball, and he actually got dumped into the bench pretty hard by the Lincoln City player running over to go and grab it, and he's going to get a red for holding on to the ball and not letting it go. But they were pointing the other way, and it did look like there was a Lincoln City official. He's got a cheeky little smile on his face as he's walking out. The Lincoln City official, our coach, looks like they were into the Exeter box. So sideline.
Oh, look at him getting in the way.
Drama in this one. It goes into the box again.
They start bumping him.
No, that was his cheeky little smile, though. He was standing there getting into his way, but he doesn't interfere and just has a couple of words for Jeffries, the Lincoln City player, as he goes and scrambles that one out of the Exeter City bench. Crama collects.
The coaching staff or whatever have more heart than the players.
Than the players. Could not support this. I don't know if it'll be interesting. We get to see Exeter City and Lincoln City over the next 2 weeks, right? It'll be interesting to see how
Exeter then Lincoln, yes.
How those games take place. Is no foul given there as Karama defends and then kicks it off and gets the throw in. Well done, sir. I thought there was going to be a foul there. And why the Greek flag? Just an interesting sidebar on display in Lincoln City. It'll be interesting to see whether this is a byproduct of the official or maybe just there's players on either side that they don't like. I do want to find out his history because there's a lot of players who have a bee in their bonnet about him this game. And sometimes you run into that. A former club or somebody said something and they've got some history. Cleared away 87 and a half minutes in. We will have a fair amount of extra time as Exeter City has an opportunity right-hand side. It's the first time that they've really made a four-way going forward. How the hell am I reviewing a contract and now there's a red? Deandra, stop letting work interfere with your football on a Saturday morning, please. Priorities, girl. Krama with it, advances it forward, right-hand side. That's going to be Woods. No, yes, it is Woods over to the right-hand side. I just assumed Woods because I saw Ginger and then thought that's the wrong guy and it was saved. Gave the corner or gave the throw in? I believe that's a throw in just next to the flag. Sweeney with it in the corner, looking to throw it in for Exeter City. 88 and a half minutes coming up now. What do you think? 6 minutes, 7 minutes of added time, Brennan?
I don't know. This guy, I don't trust anything this guy does. He could easily just do 4 or something, you know.
Parsons, the official.
Parsnips, that's better.
Parsnips.
Paprika.
Nobody really likes you if you're Parsnips. It's fitting. Nobody really likes you. Man, that stand fascinates me. The Suzuki stand. Like, it's literally 4 rows, and they put some good money into the roof in that and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Why bother?
It does make an interesting backdrop of the town, and then the mountains is what I was saying earlier. Uh-oh.
Is that a red or a yellow on Woods? Second yellow, that's his red?
Yeah.
Woods is off on the tackle there. Down
he won't
to
be
10
playing
men.
against Wrexham.
Oh, you're right.
That in a vital coach there.
We will not have the battle of gingers in the midfield between Cannon and Woods. As Woods turns around, he got the first one off of Arahone in that little dispute, and then that one, he just hung the leg out there and caught McRandles. Well-deserved yellow. I mean, he earned it. he's had himself a shocker of a game. Maybe you do want Woods to be out there. I mean, remember, go back into the first half and that opportunity he had with the left footer on them. Was it right footer? Whatever it was. He had time. He had space. He went to crush the ball and sent it way up over top. So now it's hold on time. 4 minutes of added time.
Called 4 minutes.
That's all of that in 4 minutes, eh? That makes the Charlton Athletic game even more fascinating, where you got 7 minutes and then the last second penalty, and you look at the extra time and everything that happened there. And this game with all of the drama, all of the hold-up, and just 4 minutes. Sub for Exeter City. Fitzwater coming in as a defensive replacement as they're down a man. And I guess it is November. I was going to be critical of the like some of the mustaches that are being grown are not very good. But because it's November, I'm going to give it a free pass. Sweeney. Back to his keeper. Whitworth holds on. He'll take his time trying to eke out a road point for Exeter City and Lincoln, and probably one that's not deserved. Like if I was to say who deserved to get the 3 points out of this one, I would say Lincoln City, especially on the balance of play in the second half. And while we're doing this, I'm also going to go and grab the link for the next one and put it into the boxes. Lincoln City makes a last minute sub. Whoop. The trailer.
You muted yourself, Sean, I think.
I shouldn't have muted myself. Am I back?
You were just quiet.
I was just deathly quiet as I was trying to get that link out there, and now I'll have to go and find a way to pin it to make sure everybody finds it and gets there. Right-footed up over top. Oh, nice. Well done and well covered to head that away and get it to Sweeney. And it's just thumped down the pitch, and that's a potential yellow there. Diakana. Darikwa.
Just awful defending, and then he's going to cry about bear hugging a guy from behind.
Well, it was awful defending, and then in the panic, he inserted his head into the armpit of the player to try and slow him down, and then complained that he was grabbed around the head. Left-footed, served in for Exeter City. 5-6 jerseys forward and falls to them. Opportunity there, collected. Well done and grabbed, reached out, stabbed away.
Look at them making efforts at scoring when they're down a player.
Lincoln City, the switch is on over to the opposite side. Krama. Didn't see him at all in the first half, but the second half, he's been there with about 4 or 5 nice little stops as Lincoln City loses the ball. 30 seconds till the end of the 4th minute. Might get a little bit of added time because there's been 2 substitutes since. And then we'll jump off. I've put the link there. Hey, Tuglandia, thanks for joining us as we'll all head our way over to the other channel. We'll probably take, 3-5 minutes, do you think, Brendan? Get our house in order?
Yeah, about 3 minutes. I can turn it around pretty quick.
All right, perfect. And so we'll leave as soon as the whistle blows. And I need to figure out, because I don't have audio on mine, so I might be a little bit of time trying to figure out why I'm not getting the matchup through my phone. All of this has been in silence, which has actually been kind of nice, to be completely fair. The fans are heading home. Expect that this is going to be 1 point for either, which I think is probably a good result for us. Anytime that there are points dropped and it's 2 points instead of 3, I think is good, although Deandra may disagree with me on that one. That was the worst game of football I have ever watched, as far as quality goes. That was not good. But did we learn anything from it other than style? Probably not. Except I need to figure out who this Arahone kid was or is. Anyways, we're going to jump off of this one. Thanks for joining us for the neutral watch party. We're going to be over. The link is in the discussions there. Jump on over. We will be about 3 to 5 minutes.